episode of Forks and Films. I'm your host, Jacqueline Strayer. Tonight we're going to be looking at the holiday classic, Home Alone. And it's really befitting that I have this fire going because we've had record cold temperatures here in New York, and we actually had flurries earlier today. So we've got the fireplace going and to get everybody in the mood. In the film Home Alone, there's a famous scene early on where Kevin McCallister, who's played by Macaulay Culkin, gets into a fight with his brother over a cheese pizza. So that's what we're going to be making tonight, cheese pizza. So I'm going to turn our program over to Chef Martin. He's going to teach you how to make the best cheese pizza ever. And then we're going to come back a little bit later. We're going to talk about our film and what's coming up next. Have a great time.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Today is pizza day. I've been waiting for this one. And it took the movie Home Alone to bring it to us. Classic 1980 comedy. A lot of good characters, a lot of good actors and actresses in that film. Really a personal favorite of mine. I'm not really sure if Joe Pesci suffered more in Home Alone or in Goodfellas. I'll leave that up to you. But anyway, pizza. Pizza is the ubiquitous food here, Italian-American. It's really exploded. All sorts of varieties. Today we're going to try and do something that's easy and yet a little special too. We do a pizza in Butere's restaurant, which is a grilled crust. We stretch the pizza out, the dough, and we grill it first on a grill. So get some really nice marks on the shell, and then we flatten it out, and we hold these, and then we dress them and bake them and finish them in the oven. It really adds a depth of flavor. It's a pre-cooked, we call them pizza shells. We did a little pizza making kit in the restaurant. You come in and get all the ingredients and you assemble one at home. You also are going to make one from dough, where we stretch it out and we put it in the oven. So pizza is very amenable. Okay, it's really your choice, your preference. You put on it what you want. And in this time, when things are hard to get, you might not be able to get flour, or you might be, trouble to get a pizza dough. Ask your local pizzeria. Maybe you can buy a dough from them. So today, what we'll do is we'll dress a pizza on the shell, okay? And we'll set that up. But first, what we need to do is when you cook the pizza in your oven, you need to have it on a stone, or what we use is a pizza screen. It's something we use in a restaurant. You can get this online as well. If you don't have one of these, it's okay. If you don't have a stone, that's all right too. You could use a flat sheet pan, cover it with aluminum foil. But first, what we'll do is we'll get our stone. Right here, I have a pizza stone. It's a round. Oh, they sell them square. They're online as well. We put it in the oven. You want to let this heat for about half an hour at 450, so you get nice and hot. And what the stone does is it really draws some of the moisture out of the dough and helps crisp the pizza up. It cooks it more evenly. So let's put this in and reheat and get this really nice and hot. Half an hour. Okay, so that stone's nice and hot. We're gonna prepare our shells. We're gonna do one. You put this pizza shell on the screen. Not very difficult, okay? We're gonna do one traditional. You got your marinara sauce. Again, you could make your own. You could buy store-bought. I happen to like Butere's. I'm a little biased there, but anyway, dress your pizza. Go out to the edge. Don't go too far, because it will. You want to leave a little room for that crust to crisp up on the outside. Dressed it. Shredded mozzarella cheese. Okay. It's a low moisture cheese. This is not fresh. This is a little drier. But this is typical pizzeria cheese, mozzarella. Okay, now as far as toppings go, it's your choice. I'm going to crumble up some chicken meatballs that we sell, but I like them. So I'm going to crumble them up. You take the meatball and just break it on top. You don't have to slice it. You like the irregularity in the surfaces. It lends to a crisper, more, differently cooked, a little more texture that way. So, cheese, sauce, cheese, meatball. You can add oregano if you like. I'm going to pass on that. Romano cheese, we'll put some Romano cheese on. I love Romano. And then the old extra virgin olive oil around the top. And fresh basil. Just put a little fresh basil on before it goes in and then a little bit after. And then I like to just a couple of dollops of sauce along the top. Just for appearance, so it doesn't look kind of all white afterwards. We take this and we put this in the oven. 450, this takes about 10 minutes. Alrighty. Let's come up with something different. I like another shell. I like fresh tomato plain with no sauce, just the tomato. I slice Italian plum tomato right here, and I just thinly slice it, put it around the shell. Here we are. Nice. This is nice. This is very, very plain. This is the way my mother used to have her pizza. And on this one, I'm going to put some fresh mozzarella. Fresh mozzarella has more moisture. All right, it's not allowed to dry or cure a little bit like the low moisture. So it's a little softer and it will release a little of that liquid when it does cook. So you don't really need too much either. In this case, less is more. Again, olive oil on top. Let's put a little basil on there beforehand, and then we rip. I always like to rip that basil on top, get that smell. Love that smell of basil. And we'll go a little Romano cheese. Okay? So right there, very, very simple and delicious. Let's put this in. Let those bake. Okay, now for the adventurous types, if you want to make a pizza from scratch, I'm not going to show you how to make the dough. There are other ways of doing that. But generally speaking, for every inch of diameter, you want to have about 1.5 ounces of dough. So do your measurements accordingly. We're going to have about a 12-inch pizza, so 9-ounce, 12 ounces of dough for 9-inch piece of pizza. Take your dough and you put it in flour. Very important. Okay, let the outside so you can work the dough. And on a surface, granite surface, countertop, you have this round and you want to just press down and make a little bit of a border. Okay. So you want to make that border first, and then you press down evenly. You want to keep the crust so that it's defined, and yet the interior as even as possible. Okay, this pizza right here is now ready. So stretching it a little more, use 2 hands, keeping that dough nice and even if you can. You take it. So we're gonna put a little flour on this. Okay, and I'm gonna stretch. Okay, so now the pizza is really, now just treat it like you would a shell. Put a little sauce. I'm gonna make this one with marinara. There we go. Beautiful marinara sauce. Let's put that fresh mozzarella on. And you don't need a lot. You don't need a lot, just a little bit. In the Napolitan style. Okay, if you have no room in your regular oven, just run out to your backyard and get into your wood-burning pizza oven. And well, if you don't have one of these, you can get them. They're really hard to get now during the pandemic, but afterwards you might be able to. I have this, this is my pleasure. So you take the oven, wood-burning pizza, right in on that stone, right there, just the way it is. That'll cook quickly. Let's wait that one out. Let's open that up. See that cooking? Takes just a little bit of time. Different peel to take it in. Perfect. Okay, so this is the one from the brick oven we just took out. Let's get the others that we have in our conventional oven here. So, careful working with the heat. This is the chicken meatball with the little bit of marinara on top. See the chicken meatball kind of crumbled here. It picks up some color, really, really nice. And then my favorite here is the tomato with just the basil and mozzarella cheese on top. Close that oven. Now all of these get a little more fresh basil added on top right before service. Delicious, and why not, right? A little bit more of olive oil. There you go. Pizza. You don't have to be home alone. Unfortunately, we're really not, but it's good to be with family. It's good to have fun. Make some pizzas together. Really great food, funny film. Enjoy everything. Let's have a great night. It's almost here. We're almost done. Jacqueline, back to you. Thanks a lot.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you had a great time making your cheese pizza. Mine is in the oven, so I'm gonna munch on some of these holiday cookies that I baked, some sugar cookies and some chocolate chips. So let's talk about the 1990 classic holiday film, Home Alone. It was written and produced by John Hughes, directed by Chris Columbus, and stars Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay Culkin plays the 8-year-old Kevin McCallister, who is left home alone by his parents when, unbeknownst to them, they leave him home on their trip to Paris. And so they're in Paris and he's back in Chicago. So what happens? So while he's home alone, there are these two robbers that are basically kind of looking at the neighborhood and what houses to break into, played by Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern. And Macaulay Culkin gets wind of this and he ends up having to defend his house against Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern. We follow the adventures and escapades of all of them, and it's a wonderful film with a very, very wonderful ending that is poignant and beautiful, so you'll really enjoy that. If you haven't seen the film, you're going to love it. Interestingly enough, when the film was made, it went over budget, and the original producers and distributors of it, Warner Brothers, walked away from it, and it ended up being distributed by 20th Century Fox. Good for them. Because the film, while it cost them $18 million over the $10 million original budget, made almost $500 million worldwide and ended up being the most successful film of its genre for over 20 years. So when you watch it, if you haven't seen it, you'll know why. It's a great film and a holiday classic. Next week, we're going to be looking at a very different kind of film. We're going to go across the ocean and watch The Grand Budapest Hotel. Written and directed by Wes Anderson, this film came out in 2014 and has an all-star cast headlined by Ralph Fiennes, Saoirse Ronan, Tilda Swinton, Bill Murray, Adrian Brody, Harvey Keitel. Has a terrific cast with a wonderful story, and really there's a lot of twists and plot turns that you'll really enjoy. With that film, we're going to learn how to make Hungarian goulash. So terrific film. The following week, we're going to be watching fried green tomatoes, and with that, learning how to make something from the barbecue right in time for Memorial Day. So don't forget to post to our social media channels, and from our teams, Forks and Films, we want to wish everybody a safe, wonderful week, and see you next week. Thanks for watching.